Daniel Wright floated in the observation dome of Outpost 7, his eyes fixed on the holographic display of the Kuiper Belt. For 3 years, he had monitored this distant region of the solar system, cataloging asteroids and ice formations. It was lonely work, but Daniel preferred the quiet of deep space to the crowded colonies of Mars or Europa. A soft beep from his console broke the silence. Daniel frowned as he checked the readings. An energy signature was pulsing from a previously unmapped region. According to his instruments, the signature didn't match any known natural phenomenon. "Base, this is right at Outpost 7, Daniel said into his comm. "I'm picking up something unusual. Sending data now." Back on Earth, Lisa Bennett stood in NASA's mission control, studying the information from Outpost 7. As commander of the exploratory vessel U.S. Horizon, she had seen her share of space anomalies, but this one made her pulse quicken. "How long has it been active?" she asked. "Just appeared 12 hours ago," replied Control Chief Paul Martinez. "It's like someone flipped a switch out there." Lisa nodded slowly. "Prep the horizon. We leave in 48 hours." The journey to the far edges of the Kuiper Belt took 3 weeks. Daniel joined Lisa's crew as a specialist, along with 20 other scientists and explorers. As they approached the coordinates, the ship's sensors began to detect more details about the mysterious object. "It's massive," said Susan Cooper, the Horizon's science officer, "approximately 2 kilometers in length." "Artificial?" Lisa asked, though she already knew the answer. Susan nodded. "Definitely. The structure is too regular, too perfect to be natural." When they finally saw it, the crew fell silent. Against the backdrop of space, a massive ship hung motionless. Its hull was dark, almost black, with lines of deep crimson energy flowing across its surface like blood through veins. The design was unlike anything humans had ever built, sleek and predatory, with wing-like structures extending from its main body. "It's beautiful," Daniel whispered. Lisa ordered the Horizon to maintain a safe distance while they conducted initial scans. The alien vessel showed no signs of movement, but the energy readings were growing stronger. "Those markings on the hull," Daniel said, pointing to the glowing symbols that covered the ship's surface. "They're changing." Lisa watched through the viewscreen as the crimson symbols shifted and rearranged themselves. "Is it responding to our presence?" "Possibly," Susan replied. "Or it could be waking up on its own." Earth Command ordered caution, but curiosity outweighed fear. Lisa assembled a small team to board the alien vessel. Daniel, Susan, and Security Officer Ryan Blackwood suited up alongside her. Standard first contact protocols, Lisa reminded them as their shuttle approached the massive ship. No weapons unless absolutely necessary. They found an opening that appeared to be an airlock. To their surprise, it accommodated their shuttle perfectly, as if it had been designed with human dimensions in mind. Inside, gravity normalized, and atmospheric readings showed breathable air. "This doesn't make sense," Susan said, checking her instruments. "The environment is compatible with human physiology." They moved deeper into the ship, down corridors that lit up with the same crimson glow as they passed. The architecture was both alien and somehow familiar, with doorways and passages that seemed built for beings of human size. In what appeared to be the control center, they found a circular room with a central platform. As Daniel stepped onto it, holographic displays burst to life around them, filling the chamber with images of stars, planets, and what looked like battle formations. "I didn't touch anything," Daniel said, stepping back. A voice filled the room, neither male nor female, speaking perfect English. "Genetic signature recognized. Ascendant proxy species identified. Activation protocols initiated." Before them, a humanoid figure materialized, a hologram composed of the same crimson energy that pulsed throughout the ship. It studied them with featureless eyes. "I am Specter, command interface of the Ascendant Warship designated Blood Moon. After 50,000 years in dormancy, I welcome the chosen inheritors." Lisa stepped forward. "We're humans from Earth." We didn't mean to activate anything. Incorrect, Specter replied. You were always meant to find us. The blood moon has been waiting for your species to reach sufficient development. Now it awakens as the enemy stirs once more. What enemy? Ryan asked, his hand moving instinctively to where his weapon would be. The hologram expanded, showing images of destruction on a galactic scale. The Vorax, and your discovery of the blood moon has just alerted them to your existence. The room fell silent as the crew stared at the holographic entity called Specter. Lysa was the first to speak. You're saying we've accidentally started an interstellar war? She asked. Not started, Specter corrected. Rejoined. The war has been paused, not ended. Susan stepped forward, her scientist's curiosity overcoming her fear. Who are the Ascendants? And why does this ship recognize us? The hologram shifted, showing beings that looked almost human, but taller, with slightly elongated features. The Ascendants seeded many worlds with life. Earth was one such world. You are their most successful descendants, though far removed. Ryan crossed his arms. So we're some kind of space experiment. You are inheritors, Specter said. The blood moon has monitored your development for millennia, waiting for the right time to awaken. That time is now. Earth Command was skeptical when Lysa reported their findings. Director Helen Gray ordered them to return immediately, but Lysa convinced her they needed more time. We need someone who can understand these symbols, Lysa said as they continued to explore the ship. They keep changing. I know someone, Daniel offered. Olivia Carter. Best xenolinguist in the system. She's working on Europa. Within days, Olivia joined them aboard the Blood Moon. Her eyes widened as she studied the flowing symbols on the walls. It's like they're alive, she whispered, responding to our presence. Olivia worked day and night, using special glasses to record and analyze the shifting patterns. On the fourth day, she made a breakthrough. It's not just a language, she explained to the others. It's a story. The ship is telling us its history. According to the symbols, the Ascendants have fought the Vorax across thousands of galaxies. The Vorax consumed entire worlds, assimilating all life forms into their collective. The Blood Moon was one of 12 special warships created to combat them. What happened to the other 11 ships? Daniel asked Specter. Destroyed, the AI replied simply. The Blood Moon is the last. While Olivia continued her work, Lysa and Ryan explored the ship's weapon systems. What they found was beyond human understanding. These aren't conventional weapons, Ryan reported. They seem to affect reality itself. Specter confirmed this. The Blood Moon can create temporary rifts in dimensional space. What you call weapons, we call reality manipulation. Meanwhile, Susan discovered something troubling in the ship's medical bay. The room contained thousands of capsules, each sized for a human body. What are these for? She asked Specter. Integration chambers, the AI explained. The Blood Moon requires a crew to reach full functionality. The chambers prepare chosen individuals for neural connection. You mean these change people? Susan's voice reflected her alarm. Enhance, Specter corrected. The process is symbiotic. The ship gains a crew, and the crew gains abilities beyond normal human capacity. When Lysa heard this, she immediately called an emergency meeting. We need to be clear about what we're dealing with. This ship wants to change us. Not all of you, Specter interjected, appearing in their midst. The Blood Moon has already selected its primary interface. All eyes turned to Daniel. He had been having strange dreams since they arrived. Dreams of flying through space, of battles against shadowy creatures. Sometimes, he woke to find the crimson symbols glowing on his skin, fading as he regained full consciousness. Why me? Daniel asked. Your mind is compatible, Specter said. Your genetic pattern carries more ascendant markers than most. You were drawn to this region of space for a reason. Earth Command, after receiving this information, was divided. Some wanted to claim the Blood Moon as human property. Others feared it, and wanted it destroyed. Director Gray finally made a decision. "Bring it back to Earth orbit for further study," she ordered. As they prepared to move the blood moon, long-range sensors detected movement at the edge of the solar system. Multiple objects, moving faster than any known spacecraft, were heading toward them. "The Vorax have responded quicker than anticipated," Specter announced. "We have limited time. The integration must begin now if you wish to survive their arrival." Daniel looked at Lisa, uncertainty in his eyes. "What do we do?" "We need more time," Lisa said. "Can we hide?" "No," Specter replied. "But we can fight." Admiral William Foster stared at the display, showing the approaching Vorax ships. After 30 years in Earth's defense forces, he thought he had seen everything. He was wrong. "How many?" he asked his second-in-command, Jane Miller. 7 vessels, each about half the size of the alien warship our people found," Jane replied. "They'll reach the outer defense perimeter in 12 hours. William nodded grimly. Earth had built a network of defense platforms throughout the solar system after the colony wars. But those were designed to stop human threats, not alien invaders. "Alert all outposts. Move the fleet to defensive positions around Earth and major colonies," he ordered. Meanwhile, aboard the Blood Moon, Lisa and her team argued about their next steps. "We should return to Earth as ordered," Ryan insisted. "Let the military handle this threat." "Earth's weapons won't stop them," Daniel said. His connection to the ship was growing stronger each hour. Sometimes he spoke words he didn't consciously choose, as if the Blood Moon was speaking through him. "Daniel's right," Olivia added. "From what I've translated, the Vorax technology is thousands of years beyond ours. This ship is our only hope." Lisa looked at Daniel with concern. The crimson symbols now appeared on his skin without fading, tracing patterns along his arms and neck. His eyes occasionally glowed with the same light. "What exactly happens during this integration process?" she asked Specter. The hologram displayed images of humans merging with technology. The Blood Moon extends itself into the crew through neural pathways. You remain yourselves, but gain access to the ship's knowledge and abilities. "Is it permanent?" Susan asked. "Yes," Specter replied simply. Lisa made her decision. "I'm staying with the ship. Anyone who wants to return to Earth can take the horizon." No one left. They had all seen the data on the Vorax. If these creatures reached Earth, humanity might not survive. Daniel was the first to enter an integration chamber. The transparent pod closed around him, filling with a crimson liquid that seemed to flow both around and through him. He didn't struggle or show signs of pain. Instead, his expression was one of wonder. While Daniel underwent integration, the first Vorax scout ship encountered Neptune's defense station. The battle lasted less than a minute. The alien vessel simply absorbed the energy from Earth's weapons, growing stronger with each hit. Admiral Foster watched the footage in horror. "What are these things?" The answer came from an unexpected source. Daniel's voice, strange and echoing, broadcast across all Earth frequencies. "They are the Vorax. They consume. They assimilate. They have devoured 1,000 worlds and 10,000 species. They will not be stopped by conventional weapons." On the view screen, Foster saw Daniel standing on what appeared to be the bridge of the Blood Moon. Crimson energy flowed across his body, and his eyes shone like stars. "Who am I speaking to?" Foster demanded. "Wright, is that you?" "I am Daniel Wright, but also more," came the reply. "The Blood Moon has shown me what we face. Admiral, you must hold the Vorax at Jupiter's orbit. Buy us time to complete the crew integration." Foster didn't like taking orders from someone who looked half alien, but he had few options. "How long do you need?" 3 days. Foster laughed bitterly. "We'll be lucky to hold them for 3 hours." Back on the Blood Moon, Lisa watched as Susan and Olivia entered integration chambers. She would be last, needing to coordinate with Earth until the others were ready. "Will this really give us a fighting chance?" she asked Specter. "No," the eye replied. It gives the human race a chance for survival. Victory requires more. What more? The Blood Moon Protocol. Specter's holographic form flickered. A final option, should all else fail. Before Lisa could ask further questions, alarm sounded. A Vorax scout had broken through the Jupiter defensive line and was heading straight for them. "We're not ready," Lisa said, watching as her friends floated in their chambers, the integration only half complete. "Then we must adapt," Specter replied. The symbols throughout the ship began to pulse faster, the crimson glow intensifying. Daniel Wright is sufficiently integrated to access basic defensive systems. On the bridge, Daniel opened his eyes. They burned with inner fire as he placed his hands on the control interface. The blood moon hummed to life around him, weapons charging as the enemy approached. "Let's see what this ship can really do," he whispered. The Vorax scout ship moved with unnatural speed, dodging debris and asteroids as if they weren't there. On the Blood Moon's bridge, Daniel felt a strange calmness despite the danger. The ship's knowledge flowed through his mind like a river of information. "Weapons ready," he said. His voice echoed with metallic undertones. Lisa watched from a secondary control station. She hadn't undergone integration yet, but she could still help operate the ship's basic systems. "Can we outrun it?" she asked. Daniel shook his head. "The Vorax ship is too fast. We must fight." The Blood Moon's engines hummed as the massive warship turned to face its opponent. The Vorax vessel was smaller but moved like a predator, circling, looking for weakness. "They're scanning us," Daniel reported, attempting to find vulnerable points. The first attack came without warning. The Vorax fired a beam of purple energy that struck the Blood Moon's hull. Instead of exploding, the beam seemed to stick to the ship, spreading like a virus. "Hull breach imminent," Specter announced. "Countermeasures advised." Daniel placed both hands on the control panel. Crimson light flowed from his fingertips into the ship. The Blood Moon's outer layer began to ripple, and the purple energy was absorbed and neutralized. "How did you do that?" Lisa asked in amazement. "I didn't. The ship did," Daniel replied. "It learns from attacks. Now it's our turn." The Blood Moon fired a burst of crimson energy that split into multiple beams, each tracking the Vorax ship as it tried to evade. One beam connected, cutting through the alien vessel's shields like they weren't there. The Vorax responded with a barrage of attacks. The battle raged for nearly an hour, both ships taking damage, but neither gaining a clear advantage. Meanwhile, in the integration chambers, Susan, Olivia, and Ryan were completing their transformations. As each one finished, they joined Daniel on the bridge, their bodies marked with the same crimson symbols, their eyes glowing with inner light. "I can feel the ship," Susan said in wonder as she took her station. "It's like it's part of me." "We are part of it, and it is part of us," Daniel corrected. "Together we are stronger." With 4 integrated crew members working in perfect harmony, the Blood Moon's capabilities increased dramatically. The ship moved faster, weapons fired with greater precision, and defensive systems anticipated attacks before they happened. The Vorax scout, outmatched, attempted to retreat. The Blood Moon pursued, unleashing a final attack that tore the enemy vessel apart. "We did it," Ryan said, grinning despite the glowing symbols on his face. "One scout ship," Daniel reminded him. "The main fleet is still coming." Back on Earth, Admiral Foster received news of the battle with mixed feelings. The alien warship had proven effective against the Vorax, but its crew was becoming less human with each passing hour. "Sir, we've lost contact with the defense station on Europa," Jane reported. "A second Vorax ship destroyed it completely." Foster slammed his fist on the table. "How many civilians were on that station?" "Over 5,000, sir." The room fell silent. This was no longer about politics or control of an alien artifact. It was about survival. On the Blood Moon, Lisa finally entered an integration chamber. As the crimson fluid surrounded her, she felt fear give way to a strange sense of purpose. Knowledge filled her mind. star maps, battle strategies, the true nature of the Vorax. When she emerged, Lisa understood what they were facing. The Vorax weren't just aliens. They were a collective consciousness that had assimilated countless species across the galaxy. Each ship contained fragments of 1,000 different civilizations, all bent to the will of the collective. "We need to reach Earth," she told the others. "The main Vorax fleet will target population centers first." As they set course for Earth, Specter appeared before them, its holographic form more detailed than before. "You have performed well in your first combat," the AI said, "but the Blood Moon is operating at only 30% capacity. To face the main Vorax fleet, you must access deeper systems." "How?" Daniel asked. "The ship contains a central chamber," Specter explained, "the heart of the Blood Moon. There you will find what the Ascendants left for humanity, their legacy and their final weapon." Lisa looked at her transformed crew. They had already given up so much of their humanity. How much more would this war demand? "Show us," she said finally. As they followed Specter deeper into the ship, none of them noticed the small piece of Vorax technology that had attached itself to the Blood Moon's hull during the battle, watching, learning, and sending information back to the approaching fleet. Specter led the crew through narrow passages that seemed to pulse with life. The deeper they went into the Blood Moon, the more the ship resembled a living organism rather than a machine. "The heart is the true power source," Specter explained, "created from a dying star by the Ascendants." They entered a massive circular chamber. In the center floated a sphere of swirling crimson energy, neither solid nor liquid nor gas. It pulsed like a heartbeat, sending waves of power throughout the ship. "It's beautiful," Susan whispered. Daniel approached the sphere. As he got closer, tendrils of energy reached out toward him like curious fingers. "What do we do?" he asked. "Join with it," Specter replied. "All of you. The heart will recognize your ascendant heritage and grant you full access to the Blood Moon's systems." The crew formed a circle around the sphere. As one, they reached out and touched the energy. The sensation was unlike anything they had experienced. It felt like being taken apart and rebuilt, atom by atom. Their consciousness expanded beyond their bodies, flowing throughout the entire ship. When it ended, they stood transformed. The symbols on their skin now glowed constantly, and they could communicate without speaking, their minds linked through the ship. "We need to hurry," Lisa said, both aloud and mentally. "Earth is in danger." The Blood Moon responded to their thoughts, engines powering up to maximum. The ship moved with incredible speed, crossing the solar system in minutes rather than days. They arrived at Earth to find chaos. 3 Vorax ships had broken through the defense fleet and were approaching the planet. Admiral Foster had ordered all available ships to protect Earth, leaving the colonies vulnerable. "This is Commander Lisa Bennett of the Blood Moon." Lisa broadcast to Earth Command. "We're here to help." "Bennett." Foster's voice came through. "Is that really you? Our sensors show your ship's energy signature has changed. We've accessed the ship's full capabilities," she replied. "Stand by." The Blood Moon moved into position between Earth and the approaching Vorax vessels. The enemy ships immediately changed course to attack. They want this ship more than they want Earth, Daniel realized. "We're their primary target." "Why?" Ryan asked. "The heart," Olivia said, understanding flowing from the ship to her mind. "It contains the last genetic templates of the Ascendants. The Vorax never managed to assimilate them. It's the one race that escaped them. The Vorax attacked with weapons never before seen by humans, beams that bent space, missiles that phased in and out of reality, and swarms of smaller craft that surrounded the Blood Moon like angry insects. But the ancient warship was ready. Its hull rippled in change, adapting to each attack. Weapons fired from impossible angles, striking the Vorax ships from multiple directions at once. Through their connection to the ship, the crew acted as one. Daniel controlled weapons, Susan managed defenses, Olivia handled communications, and Ryan directed the ship's movement. Lisa coordinated it all, her mind expanded to oversee the entire battle. From Earth, Admiral Foster watched in awe as the Blood Moon fought. The ancient warship moved like nothing he had ever seen, sometimes teemingly in multiple places at once. "Are you recording this?" he asked Jane. "Yes, sir. Though our sensors can barely keep up." Two of the Vorax ships concentrated their fire on the Blood Moon, while the third headed for Earth. The Blood Moon's hull absorbed tremendous damage, but continued fighting. "We can't protect Earth and fight these two at the same time," Daniel said, his hands moving across the controls with blinding speed. "We need to use the Specter drones," Lisa decided. The Blood Moon opened panels along its hull, releasing thousands of small crimson objects. Each was about the size of a human hand, but moved with intelligence and purpose. The drones swarmed toward the Vorax ship heading for Earth, passing through its shields as if they weren't there. Once inside, the drones began to dismantle the ship from within. On the Blood Moon's monitors, the crew watched as the Vorax vessel came apart, its systems failing as the drones destroyed critical components. With one enemy eliminated, the Blood Moon turned its full attention to the remaining two ships. The battle intensified, energy weapons lighting up space around Earth. Then, without warning, a fourth Vorax ship appeared, larger than the others. It fired a single powerful beam directly at the Blood Moon's engines. The impact sent the crew crashing to the floor. Emergency systems flashed as damage reports flooded in. "They damaged our dimensional drive," Susan reported. "We can't phase shift anymore." Lisa helped Daniel to his feet. "How bad is it?" "Bad," he replied grimly. "Without the dimensional drive, we've lost our main advantage." Through the viewing screen, they watched as all three Vorax ships moved to surround them. The crew of the Blood Moon gathered in the heart chamber. Earth's fleet was losing badly. The Vorax had destroyed 3 major defense platforms and 2 carrier ships. Millions of lives hung in the balance. "The Blood Moon Protocol is our only option," Daniel said. His voice was calm, but his eyes showed his fear. "What exactly is this protocol?" Lisa asked Specter. The hologram showed images that made them all pause. "The final integration. Your bodies and minds will merge more completely with the ship. You will gain abilities beyond normal humans, but the change will be permanent. You can never return to your former selves." "Will we still be us?" Susan asked. "Your core personalities will remain," Specter replied, "but you will become something more." The Ascendants designed this protocol as a last resort against the Vorax. Lisa looked at her crew. They had already changed so much. The glowing symbols covered most of their bodies now. Their eyes shone with inner light, but they were still human in the ways that mattered. "We need to decide together," she said. "This affects all of us." Ryan spoke first. "I've seen what the Vorax did to Europa. If we don't stop them, Earth is next." "I vote yes." "The ship has shown me the Vorax's history," Olivia added. "They've destroyed thousands of civilizations." "I vote yes too." Susan hesitated. "Once we do this, humanity might fear us as much as they fear the Vorax." "Better they fear us and live than love us and die," Daniel said quietly. In the end, they all agreed. The Blood Moon Protocol was their only hope. Specter led them to a new chamber deeper within the ship. 5 pods waited for them, larger and more complex than the integration chambers they had used before. "When you emerge, you will be the first human ascendant hybrids," Specter explained. "The process takes 1 hour." Admiral Foster received their message with mixed emotions. "You're asking me to hold off a superior enemy for 1 hour with what's left of our fleet." "Yes," Lisa replied. "Give us that time, and we can end this." Foster looked at the battle displays. Half his ships were gone. Earth's orbital defenses were failing. But what choice did he have? 1 hour, he agreed. Not a minute more. Foster ordered his remaining ships to form a tight defensive line around Earth. Every functional fighter, destroyer, and cruiser moved into position. It would be humanity's last stand. Inside their pods, the crew experienced the Blood Moon Protocol. It was nothing like the first integration. This was more intimate, more complete. The ship's technology flowed into their bodies at the cellular level, changing their DNA, enhancing their minds. They saw visions of the Ascendants, a race that had explored the stars when humans were still learning to make fire. They felt the anguish of a civilization facing extinction at the hands of the Vorax. They understood why the Blood Moon had been hidden away, waiting for worthy inheritors. Outside, Foster and his fleet fought with desperate courage. The Vorax continued their relentless attack, destroying ship after ship. Earth's last defenses were minutes from collapse when the Blood Moon suddenly powered up. The ancient warship glowed with blinding crimson light. Its damaged sections repaired themselves before the astonished eyes of Earth's defenders. Energy readings went off the scale. 5 figures emerged onto the bridge of the Blood Moon. They no longer looked entirely human. Their skin was pale and marked with flowing crimson symbols that shifted constantly. Their eyes glowed like stars. When they moved, they left trails of light in the air. "This is Lisa Bennett," Lisa broadcast to Foster. Her voice had a harmonic quality now, like multiple voices speaking as one. "The Blood Moon is combat ready." "Bennett, what happened to you people?" Foster asked. "We've become what we needed to be," she replied simply. The Blood Moon moved with impossible speed, appearing in the midst of the Vorax fleet before they could react. New weapons deployed, tearing holes in reality itself. The ship seemed to exist in multiple places at once, striking from angles that shouldn't be possible. The crew worked in perfect unity, their minds linked through the ship. They no longer needed to speak aloud or press controls. Their thoughts became action instantly. For the first time, the Vorax ships began to retreat. But the Blood Moon pursued, determined to end the threat once and for all. The final phase of the battle was about to begin. The Vorax flagship was massive, easily 3 times the size of the Blood Moon. It hung at the edge of the solar system, directing its fleet in the battle against Earth. Until now, it had stayed back, analyzing the ancient warship that had suddenly appeared to challenge them. "That's their command ship," Daniel said, his transformed mind processing information faster than any human computer. "If we destroy it, the rest will fall into disarray." The Blood Moon pursued the retreating Vorax vessels, moving with such speed that it appeared to blink in and out of existence. The smaller enemy ships tried to escape, but the ancient warship caught them one by one, tearing them apart with weapons that defied understanding. Admiral Foster watched from Earth's command center, barely able to believe what he was seeing. "Are we recording this?" he asked for the second time that day. "Yes, sir," Jane replied, her voice filled with awe. "Though half of what that ship is doing doesn't even register on our instruments." The Blood Moon finished the last of the smaller Vorax ships and turned toward the flagship. For a moment, the 2 vessels faced each other across the void, like ancient warriors sizing up their opponent. "They're trying to communicate with us," Olivia reported. Her mind now processed alien languages instantly. "Let's hear it," Lisa ordered. A voice filled the bridge, speaking in a strange, layered tone as if many beings were talking at once. "You fight well in your stolen ship, humans. The Ascendants chose poorly when they abandoned this reality. You will not make such good use of their technology." "We're not just humans anymore," Lisa replied. "And this ship wasn't stolen. It was left for us." "Irrelevant," the Vorax responded. "You are young, inexperienced. We have consumed thousands of species, each more advanced than yours. Your resistance is temporary." Ryan laughed, the sound echoing strangely from his transformed vocal cords. "They talk too much. They're stalling," Susan realized, "scanning us, looking for weaknesses." Daniel nodded. "Then let's show them our strength instead." The crew shared a single thought. It was time for the Blood Moon's ultimate capability, the one hinted at in the ship's name. The one they had glimpsed in the ancient records during their transformation. "Initiating Specter Rush," Lisa announced. The Blood Moon began to vibrate. The crimson energy that flowed through the ship and its crew intensified until it was almost blinding. The ship's systems channeled power in ways that defied the laws of physics. "What is happening?" Foster demanded as his sensors went wild. No one could answer him. What the Blood Moon was doing had never been seen before by human eyes. The ancient warships suddenly multiplied. One ship became 2, then 4, then 8, then 16. Each copy was solid and real, yet somehow all of them were the original. The Blood Moon had divided itself across multiple dimensions, existing in all of them simultaneously. On the bridge, the crew felt themselves stretched across reality. They could see in directions that had no names, perceive aspects of the universe hidden from normal humans. It was beautiful and terrifying at once. The Vorax flagship fired desperately at the approaching ships, but couldn't hit them all. Every Blood Moon was real, and every Blood Moon attacked from a different angle, a different dimension. "This is the Specter rush," Daniel whispered, his voice echoing across realities. "We exist everywhere and nowhere." The multiple versions of the Blood Moon struck the Vorax flagship simultaneously. Crimson energy tore through alien shields and armor like they were paper. The massive enemy vessel shuddered as weapons hit it from dimensions it couldn't defend against. In a desperate final move, the Vorax ship opened itself, revealing its true nature. Within the mechanical shell was a massive biological entity, a combination of all the species the Vorax had consumed over millennia. Thousands of faces pressed against transparent membranes, all with the same empty eyes. "Join us," the creature offered. "Become part of our unity. We can show you wonders beyond imagination." For a brief moment, the crew felt the pull of the offer, to join a collective that had existed for millions of years, to share in its knowledge and power. "No," Lisa said firmly. "Humanity chooses its own path." All versions of the Blood Moon fired one final coordinated attack. The Vorax flagship exploded in a burst of energy that rippled across multiple dimensions. As the light faded, the copies of the Blood Moon merged back into one. The crew collapsed to the floor, exhausted but victorious. Without their flagship, the remaining Vorax ships went dormant, floating lifelessly in space. Earth was saved. But as Daniel looked at his transformed hands and felt the ship's energy flowing through his veins, he knew that for him and his crew, the journey was just beginning.